Executive Metzger began her public service career as a member of the Rosendale Environmental Commission. And from that point, through her service as our state senator to her role today, she's demonstrated a dedication to work on energy and climate issues and solutions. I think it's important to reflect that today marks just under 1 month that Executive Metzger has been in office. Bold action, decisive leadership, true partnership. That's what we're here to celebrate today. I want to say that we in the legislature are committed to working hand in hand with you to deliver both on this action today, but to codify as needed and to expand on our own internal policies. The time is now. Executive Metzger.
So first of all, I do want to thank the Maritime Museum for hosting us today, and I really do hope everyone checks out this incredible exhibit. I want to just express my appreciation to the legislature and my legislative colleagues here, because you know the Ulster County Legislature really has been a champion of addressing the climate crisis for years. And the local government representatives here and the entire advocacy community of friends that I've been working with. Thank you for being here. We know from a well-established international scientific consensus that human-induced climate change is causing dangerous and widespread disruption in nature and affecting the lives of billions of people around the world. We really don't need the science to tell us this. We can see the impacts of climate change right here in Ulster County. 1 year ago this weekend, an ice storm left people stranded without heat and power for as much as a week in freezing February temperatures. My house, Rosendale, was in one of those. And responding to that emergency required assistance from multiple counties and states. We saw a prolonged drought in the summer that drew down reservoirs to such low levels that the city of Kingston had to declare a drought emergency and institute mandatory restrictions on water use. We are seeing an increase in the number of extreme heat days, putting people's health and safety at risk, particularly the most vulnerable among us. And where we're standing right now, as Mayor Noble pointed out, we saw incredible flooding. Sea levels are going to continue to rise, and the Hudson River is predicted to rise 4 feet in the next 60 years. Now, it's tempting to throw your hands up in despair, but we can't do that, and we shouldn't do that. 2 of 3 of my sons are here today, Gideon and Jasper, and I'm going to do everything in my power to reduce the risk to them and their children and to all of our children. And I know my colleagues feel exactly the same way. We also know from the science that every bit of reduction in greenhouse gas emissions matters. And importantly, and I can't emphasize this enough, out of every crisis comes opportunity for positive change. And the climate crisis is no exception. The benefits to Ulster County of reducing emissions and shifting to a green economy are tremendous. We're all experiencing the huge pinch of home heating bills, electricity bills this year, and that is a direct result of our dependence on fossil fuels, which are affected by world events beyond our control. Those prices are set primarily in international markets, and the more we can reduce our reliance on them, the better off our residents and small businesses will be. Energy efficient heat pumps are selling like gangbusters in our area, especially in my town and all towns dependent on home heating oil, because who can afford $5 or $6 a gallon for home heating oil? Shifting to a clean energy economy is also a huge job creator. Ulster County can see tens of thousands of new jobs in manufacturing, buildings, transportation, renewable energy, and other green economy sectors. The 500 jobs that Zinc8, that cutting-edge battery storage company, we just had a big unveiling on earlier this week. That's at iPark in the town of Ulster. That's just the beginning. That is just scratching the surface of the potential. And then there are the health benefits. Combusting fossil fuels is bad for our air quality, both indoor air quality and outdoor air quality, and is associated with all kinds of health problems, from asthma to heart disease to cancer. Switching to clean, energy efficient alternatives is just better for our health right here at the local level. So we want to seize the opportunity to realize all of these benefits for our residents and businesses here in Ulster County, and that brings us to why we're all here today. When I served in the state Senate, I worked really hard to get the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act passed. It was touch and go there at the very end of the session in 2019, but we did it. That law is forward-looking, not just in terms of the emissions reduction goals, but also in terms of how we get there, by making sure that it's fair and equitable. And as Gregory pointed out, so importantly, it's about environmental justice. It's about making sure that we are lifting everyone in this transition. But now we have to implement this law, and Ulster County is in a position to lead the way. We're not starting with a blank canvas here, as has already been pointed out. Ulster County has been leading on climate for a long time, thanks to a forward-looking legislature and my two predecessors, Mike Hine and Pat Ryan. And we, as was already mentioned, we're the first county in the state to be silver certified as a climate smart community, which is really a huge achievement. It's not easy to do. So that's something to be incredibly proud of. Today, I'm proud to continue Ulster County's tradition of climate leadership with the signing of this executive order, which will fully align our county government with the state's Climate Act, committing us to achieving the necessary level of emissions reductions at an accelerated rate, and doing so in a way that is fair and equitable. The directives in this order focus primarily on government buildings, facilities, and operations. I'm so glad the departments from DPW to purchasing to environment, the sheriff's department, we're all involved in this effort. We need to lead by example, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But this order also seeks to support our residents and businesses in their efforts to improve their energy efficiency, reduce energy costs, and adopt clean energy technologies, especially in underserved communities, especially for the most vulnerable among us. There are 13 directives in all. The county attorney was like, this is a really long executive order. I got a lot to say. So I'm just going to highlight a few of those, but I think we have copies here today. We will assess all government buildings for on-site solar and battery storage to help us reach the county target of generating 100% of government electricity needs from renewable resources by 2030, which is 10 years ahead of the state's target. We will require new construction and major renovation of county buildings to comply with the more stringent New York State Stretch Energy Code, to be all electric and equipped with EV charging, and in the case of new construction, also equipped with solar. We will make recommendations to the legislature to amend the county green purchasing policy and green fleet policy to be consistent with the climate law and the state scoping plan that was just adopted by the Climate Action Council in December. The county government purchased a lot of supplies and equipment, and our buying power can help support green industries and green jobs right here in Ulster County. We're setting a goal of diverting 100% of our countywide organic waste from landfills and incinerators by 2030. And we'll start with the government's own operations, putting an organic waste recycling program in place for county buildings and facilities this calendar year. We will also undertake an assessment of UCAP, our public transit bus service, with the goal of expanding routes and scheduling, and will continue to work to fully electrify that fleet. Public transportation is not just about reducing emissions, it's about access to education and job opportunities and health care for folks who cannot afford a car or the gas to get around. And I just want to mention one more directive here today. I have directed Ulster County's new Chief Diversity Officer, Essie Lewis, who is here today, waving back there, and all relevant departments from planning to social services, to economic development, to the Office of the Aging, to work together to develop a plan to help our residents and small businesses take advantage of state and federal assistance and incentives so they can improve their energy efficiency and adopt clean energy technologies. And in this effort, we are going to prioritize the most vulnerable and the most underserved communities in our counties. There's a tremendous opportunity coming down the pike from the Inflation Reduction Act. There are so much in the way of resources for our communities, and we need to take advantage of it. My office is committed to building a sustainable, resilient, thriving Ulster County that leaves no one behind. Thank you.